So I'm sharing okay, right?
Yes, it appears to be.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I was trying to record this. So, okay, so resources, actors, role, okay. Then the textbook provides a lot of examples. One good example, they use a pizza place at the same time. Yeah, this is the pizza thing again. If you look at the figure, you have they present those processes in terms of take order, make pizza, bake, deliver. So as you can see, it's pretty much straightforward. But thing is, they trying to categorize in terms of those three things. Talk about resources, actors, and roles, and each step basically involves people, tools, information. That's something we can put it different way rather than resources, actors, and roles. And four characteristics of processes. Actually, on some of these figures and the definition they come up with, I believe they come from academic articles, researches. So some folks like 90s, 2000, they produce all this research and people really love it. Then they adapt and put it into their textbook. I think this is one of them. And four characteristics of business processes. First one is stability in terms of whether it's structured or dynamic, meaning just, structured is like happening every day or same step every time. It's that structured. Dynamic changes quite often. Just like assuming you're a doctor, then a doctor see patient every day, but most of patients are different. Right? They come up with a different disease, different things. Whereas if you're in McDonald's, those pizza places, pretty much same thing every day. Right? That's what they call stability of flow in terms of structured and dynamic. And scope, operational, managerial, strategic, pretty easy to understand. Operational happens every day. Managerial, kind of middle manager so that they can plan and like a scheduling, inventory stuff, and strategic in terms of big decision making, and there's obviously executive decision making, and it's very difficult to make those decisions because it involved high stakes, right? Like creating a new product, new market, and cutting jobs or removing stores and things like that. So those stuff, strategic decision making. Then you have objectives. That's another characteristics of business process. Effectiveness and efficiency. That's something we understand as well. If I think this is okay. They're trying to show this in terms of scope, right? Operational, managerial, strategic. So this is the example of information systems. Each of those scope can help. A transaction processing system. The management information system can help managerial decision making, like a mid-level decision making. Then executive support system can help executives to make a high level or strategic decision making. But again, this is kind of old paradigm. I don't think this apply times like this we are living in. We are living in AI age, and really doesn't matter which information system that you are using, but it's supposed taking care of different scope mostly. But of course, that some information can be very specific, but in terms of whether you really want to separate into the status of information systems, it's not right these days. So, but I think it can help to understand. Then again, we're going back to objectives of processes, business processes, efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency refers to the speed and cost, and using, in this example, using less energy or less fuel, things like that. And effectiveness, you need to do something better. You need to create something better. You need to do things much better way than what you are doing right now. So that's effectiveness. So effectiveness is a little bit difficult to measure compared to efficiency. For this example, like a pizza place, probably just making better pizza, better tasting pizza. Here's the example. Oops. Here's the example, better tasting pizza. That's a good example of using effectiveness in pizza place. Maybe something else like or bring in better promotion so that you bring more customers. Could be effectiveness. So that's the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Then it comes into examples of common business process. Again, this is just pretty straightforward to understand because most of business involves this type of business processes. It's more like a business function, I believe, functional example of a business process, because you have inbound, outbound, sales, marketing, service, human resources, and involves some technology and involves also infrastructure processes. Because it's just like Amazon need all those business functions like inbound operations, outbound in terms of shipping your product, and also you have marketing tools for Amazon, like a recommending system or Amazon Prime. That's another good example of marketing tool. And also talk about value chain. I think you probably heard this so many times about value chain in management and marketing, and even other accounting, finance. I think they also talk about business, the value chain all the time, right? So every time you're going through this process, each step of process, you're trying to add values, right? Values that keep adding so that at the end of this process, then, those values are kind of accumulated. So, accumulate as much values as possible, okay? So if any of this step, while you're adding value, then I think the customer experience will kind of suffer because you're supposed to add the values, but if you couldn't add those values, then that make a pretty big difference. It's like a Nike shoe. You place an order in Nike.com or whatever online shop, then you go through. They're supposed to have a manufacturing step, then your shoe go through shipping, marketing, then customer service if you have any problem, like that. So each of those steps you're supposed to add values. So again, I think this inbound operations hub, I think we talk about that because that was from the table or figure. And I think it's this one, applying process concept and characteristics. I think there's more arbitrary tips. How are you going to apply process concept and characteristics? Ask good questions about objectives, standardized structured processes, and don't confuse process and IS. Process is activities, but IS is the technology or system that help these processes, right? So it's more kind of tips. Then process improvement. And I think it talks about process objectives. How you gonna improve process objectives? Okay, just like a business objectives. Yeah, I was just thinking something else. But when you take what is the course management 4190, that's a strategic management. That's a capstone course. And Dr. Bennett is teaching. So he's talking about business. It's kind of grew up, strategic management. So he talks about all those strategic things. And he said that the objectives, when you set any type of objectives, doesn't matter, business objectives, or objectives of any organization, you need to measure it. So measuring is very important. So to be measured, then your objectives must be very clear. It should not be ambiguous. And the other thing is, should be very explicit. That's another way of measuring the objectives. Must be explicit. That's the second. And third thing is, I think he was talking about appropriate. Yeah, objective must be appropriate for strategy. Okay, because sometimes, you're trying to measure technology, but you're talking about something else, rather than, kind of double-edged, rather than, you're trying to improve your business by using technology, using information systems, but you're probably just spending too much on it. So third one is, again, appropriate use of these objectives. So that's something he was talking about. The measuring is more important than just setting up objectives. So that's where it comes in as a key performance indicator. You need to have a clear goal. I think that's what the book talks about. Then, so that you can measure how good your objectives. For example, restaurant can use some of those indicators, like any restaurant actually. There will be some wait time, right? Customer wait time, and that's kind of pretty obvious. But satisfaction is pretty subjective matter, but still can be used as a measure. Then accuracy, order accuracy, that's another way to measure the performance or objectives of the processes. Then goes into more examples, how to improve activities and using pizza place and hospital. So, how to do some good improvements using actual examples, like using GPS for pizza shop, hospital, prescription, medication checkers. So I think it goes on and on to give us some good examples for improving business processes. So another thing interesting from the textbook talks about improving processes using system engineering and using workflow. This is this second thing, workflow. I think they call it like a workflow management coalition. So that's shown as a WFMC. That's kind of industry standard. It's more of international organization that sets standard for workflow systems. So they kind of define those different standards. So, industry would follow those workflow systems. So that's, I think, a good standard to follow for creating, workflow system or workflow software system that you're using. Then we have a business process modeling. Then we have a Six Sigma. In terms of Six Sigma, we have a course named Six Sigma, okay? Actually, we have a few other courses in project management, principles of project management, and what's the other one? The other one called something to do with tools or systems in project management, so that you're using a lot of hands-on tools for project management. But Six Sigma is another one of those courses offered from project management. We have project management certificate program. We plan to create a department on a major for project management. We couldn't do it, but we are keep pursuing in this major, project management major. Hopefully we can be successful next year. But this course is a very interesting one, Six Sigma. Because Six Sigma is another standard. Let's see whether we have this. There you go. Six Sigma is another industry standard, industry principle that widely accepted. So especially manufacturing companies, manufacturing industry, they highly regard this Six Sigma. So many of their managers, employees, they go through this seminars and the courses that they go through. Then you get what they call belt or certificate. So they have white, blue, red, white, blue, black belt. So I think at least 3 belts. So indicating 3 different levels. So suppose you go through one by one, then eventually you get the black belt, then you're supposed to be the highest honor in the Six Sigma certification program. And basically the goal of the Six Sigma is to remove any kind of defects, any kind of efficiencies in the business processes. So, this is good stuff. So anytime this guy, black belt, comes in organization, they recognize or, presented any problems of these organizations in terms of business process. And he goes on and find it and try to fix it by using all kinds of different tools from Six Sigma. And a lot of those tools are coming from statistical mathematical models, so that, trying to minimize problems and maximize the effectiveness or efficiency of the business processes. So that's another way to improve business processes. And I think toward the end of textbook talks about information silos. And I'm not sure this is really significant. Yeah, it's true that systems are often, some systems, not only data, but other systems can be isolated because they were designed for some, remote places, put it into remote places as a functional reasons. but I'm not sure that's really important things that can be brought up to this business processes. But so I think that's kind of summarized this chapter. Looks like only two of us today.
I think it's just me and you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
I don't. No, sir, not right now.
Okay. What about the project? Is going well?
I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is I'm doing, and there's a lot of material to wade through.
Yeah.
So I haven't made as much progress as I'd like at this point, but I think I'll get there. I'll get there.
Right. So I have made a video, videos and other stuff. So you want to go back and take a look. We'll give you some good tips to start it over. So at the same time, just ask other classmates. They have a good. They have some good progress. Some of them made a pretty good progress. So they give you good hints or good, ideas for you.
Yes, I've been reading through the discussion board, and I've made note of a couple of things.
Great. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know, okay?
I sure will. Thank you.
So we'll see you next time.